That's the other us. You gotta remove them. Okay,
How's
so
that?
it
Is
looks
that
like it's
better?
us. You hear us?
Okay, we'll edit all this out, and then we'll start
No,
from the
we
very
won't.
beginning.
It's a
Yes, we.
live
No,
stream.
we have to for our listeners when they listen to us. All right, thank you so much, everyone. This is Father Son Galaxy. I am Kerwin. This is Keith.
Hello.
We are back. All right, we're
Well,
back talking
for a
about
little
Marvel.
bit, I might not be back for this entire stream. I'm going to be slipping through the
I
past.
know that looked painful. We're going to talk
Oh,
about
it
that.
felt painful.
All right. Now, we're talking about Marvel again. Remember the last time we spoke about Marvel series, the last Marvel series? Secret Invasion, right?
I'm gonna grab my lightsaber.
Okay, all
I'm gonna
right.
burn down the
No,
books
no,
of
don't, no, my
Jedi.
ears. Leave my ears alone.
I'm gonna
Don't touch
burn
my
down the
ears.
Jedi books of
Okay,
knowledge.
all right. Let's forget
I'm
about.
gonna become
We're not
Yoda.
here to talk about Secret Invasion. We are here to talk about Loki season 2. I hope you watched it because it is a spoiler
Let
review.
me grab my lightsaber.
Thank you, everyone, for on the live stream. If you're new to the channel, thank you. We ask you to like and subscribe. If you're on Instagram, thank you so much for being on Instagram and do the same. Like us on Instagram, uh, follow us on Instagram, like us on the YouTube channel. All right, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right. So before we get into Loki season 2, let's do a recap of Loki season 1. All right. Loki escapes custody in Avengers Endgame using the Tesseract. All right. And he disappears and ends up in another place and is arrested by the TVA. The TVA is a time variant authority whose job is to protect the sacred timeline. Anyone who deviates the sacred timeline and creates a branch in the timeline, causing a multiverse, is called a variant. Loki is arrested. He's a variant. He's arrested by Hunter B-15. She is one of the Minutemen they call, who military that works for the TVA, and her team charges him as a variant. He's charged of crimes committed against the timeline. B-15 resets the timeline. The branch disappears, and the sacred timeline remains. Right, that is the plan, to keep the sacred timeline going.
So Agent Mobius of the TVA asks Loki to help him find another Loki variant who's taken out Minutemen. And that turns out to be Sylvie, who's the second main character in the show. And Loki and Sylvie team up and they expose the TVA as a fraud. And everyone working for the TVA is also a variant. They've made decisions based on their own free will, or not anymore. The TVA stole their lives and wiped their memories and made them soldiers for their army.
Yeah, that's right.
So Loki and Sylvie find the mastermind behind the TVA is not the three mythical gods that were said to create the sacred timeline. Those
Right.
are animatronics.
Yes.
But it's he who remains an all-powerful, all-knowing being. He offers Loki and Sylvie the choice to either rule the TVA or take him out and open up a new multiverse. Loki and Sylvie are split on the decision. Loki wants to keep him alive, but Sylvie thinks she could call his bluff. She messed around and she found out, and that's where season 1 ends.
She did. Sylvie took it into her own hands and she destroyed He Who Remains. And because of that, we've got many of them. Many Kangs, many He Who Remains, whatever name he wants to give himself. He is now in control of the multiverse. And there are massive branches coming out of the timeline, which is something that the TVA did not want. Okay. So because that leaves us.
Destroy the sacred
so now,
timeline.
All right. So at the very last scene of the last episode of season 1, Sylvie banishes Loki into another portal. Don't know where he is, but he manages to get back to the TVA and he wants to alert Agent Mobius and B-15 to let them know that we're all in danger.
And they don't remember.
They have no idea who he is. All right. We find out in the beginning of season 2, episode 1, why that is. And then we're going to talk about time slipping. All right. So this time slipping, very interesting. We saw this in the trailers and we had no idea what was going on. But, Loki's at a point where he can't control it. I mean, he moves from future, past, present, doesn't matter. It looks painful, as I said earlier.
He's just ripping.
It's like his
time keeps on slipping, more like ripping.
He is slipping into the future.
Slipping and sliding.
Into the past, into the present. And I mean, it looks like his skin is getting pulled in different directions.
Ooh, you know what?
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I'm afraid of Kang.
You think?
Character-wise, I am becoming more afraid of him than I was in Quantumania.
Tell me why.
I'm not saying Quantumania is bad, but like in Loki season 2, it feels more like Kang is a god and he's the ruler. He is everything. Like, we see all these statues of Kang. We see his face in the meeting room. We see that there's a huge pillar of him right in the center of the TVA. You know, everything has to do with Kang. And he's so powerful, like, even Loki feels powerless to stop him.
Right. And you said earlier, in the first season, we thought the TVA was ruled by these 3 timekeepers, right? And we find out
they turned out to be animatronics.
They don't even exist.
FNAF movie.
Yeah, they don't even exist, these timekeepers. And it's interesting that at the beginning of the season, first was, talking about season 1, there are statues of these timekeepers everywhere. But as soon as He Who Remains is destroyed and those multi-branches are coming out of nowhere, they are replaced by Kang, the statue of Kang.
Exactly.
Very, very powerful. Yes, he is.
You know what was crazy?
Yeah.
Loki ran into that meeting room and he's like time flipping it all, and he prunes the wall and we see all those statues of Kang. And it's like...
Exactly, because Loki with the time slipping, he went into the future and saw that the war room just had statues, or not statues, but these models of Kang all over the wall. So when he went back to the present, it wasn't there. All right, and then you're right.
It was.
Well, it was behind the. Yeah, it was
is
behind that.
Is he merging timelines, or has that always existed?
Is Kang merging timelines?
No, like did the images of Kang always exist behind that wall, or is that him blending timelines?
Well, I think it existed ever since Sylvie took him out.
I hope so.
And the timeline, the branches just went overboard. I mean, there were branches all over the place. I think that's when it happened.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about. So Mobius is concerned about Loki. He needs to find out.
Strip.
Yeah. And
get it? Mobius, like the Mobius strip, it never really ends. It's like the infinity sign.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that.
He doesn't age either. Like, there's a throwaway line in the episode where we see that, Mobius and Ouroboros have apparently been working at the TVA for like 400 years.
That's true. We'll get to that.
And by the way, Ouroboros is supposed to be a symbol of eternity. It's like a snake or a serpent eating its tail, like wholeness and infinity.
Yeah.
Which means...
What do you think that means?
I don't know. Maybe they're eternal.
Could be. Okay. All right. So let's talk about that. Let's get into that. All right. So Mobius is concerned about Loki. He's trying to figure out, why Loki continues to disappear without notice. So he goes to see this person who apparently works at the very bottom of the building in the dwelling down there, right? Parts and requisitions. Yes, right. Yeah, parts and requisitions.
Repairs and advancement.
Repairs and advancement.
I was so far.
And they take him all the way down. I mean, he's down in the cellar, and they find this person named Ouroboros, played by Oscar winner Ke Huy Quan. Right?
Let's go.
Fits right in. He fits like a glove in this series. I love his character. We're going to be talking about him a lot more.
Should have brought him back for Indiana Jones.
Well, okay. Oh, boy. Yeah. A lot of people felt that way. All right. So Ouroboros, OB, okay, is his nickname that's given to Loki in the past. Has apparently worked in RNA for 400 years. Now, one thing I recall, unless I missed something, Keith, we know that in the first season, Loki talked about how the TVA wiped the memories of the people who work for them, right?
Exactly.
Including Mobius and B-15 and others. But I don't get the impression that OB's memory has been wiped. And could it be, or do you think so? Could it be because
they just... Why would you say that?
Well, because he remembers meeting Loki in the past.
But here's what it is.
Yeah, go ahead.
They had already had their memories wiped because they were working at the TVA. Yes. So there would have been no reason to wipe their memories a second time. So when Loki went to meet him in the past,
I see. Okay.
Then it's adding memories. It's kind of like the Flash Savitar thing, like they did in season 3, where basically if Barry learns something, Savitar
Okay.
also learns that.
All right. Well, you're talking about the Flash, so
Yeah,
let people know
like
what
I'm
you're
saying,
talking
it's a huge plot point in season 3.
about. Okay.
So it's the same thing here. Like if Ouroboros learned something in the past, he'll remember it in the future.
I see. Okay, so it's possible that his memory could have been wiped at some point in the past, but now that Loki is going back there in the past right now and explaining to him, well, this is who I am. I'm from your future. You know, this is what I came here to do. I need you to figure out why I am time slipping.
Yep.
Okay, so that's possible. Okay, all right. So now, and just going back to, you explain what Ouroboros is, but yeah, we looked it up in a Norse mythology book, definitive guide of what the definition is. I want to say again that it is an image of a serpent or a dragon eating its own tail. So it's circular, right? So if you were to Google it, look it up, you'll see the symbol. It symbolizes the cycle of life, death, and rebirth, such as the cycle of Ragnarok in Norse mythology, which will continue to repeat for eternity. It was introduced to Western culture via ancient Egyptian iconography. Similar symbols and myths can be found in ancient cultures in China, Greece, and South America. Ouroboros. All right, that's what Ouroboros is. Now, how that ties into Ke Huy Quan's character, I'm not quite sure, other than that he's lived for 400 years, apparently, or at least worked for the TVA for 400 years. He might be older than that.
How do they not look like they age, though?
Yeah, well, that's something we'll have to figure out. Maybe they'll answer that question in the future episodes. All right, so we'll pick it up. Let's go to Q&A. Let's see what we have. Okay, Flash season. Oh, it looks like Alex might have seen Flash.
Oh no.
Flash season 3's time travel was so convoluted. I think Loki time travel has been better explained so far. I agree with the fanatics. Ke Huy Quan is an excellent addition. Yes, fits like a glove.
I'll
Wonderful.
be honest. The whole point of having a villain from the future didn't make sense.
Okay.
But it does.
Now, let's
way.
not go too far off into Flash.
Yeah, I'm just going to explain it for a second.
Go ahead.
So basically, like, I'll give you a good example. Reverse Flash.
Mm-hmm.
So the Reverse Flash idolized the Flash. So he ends up going into the past. And he tries to find the Flash, but it turns out that the Flash is Wally West, and that the Reverse Flash happens to be the Flash's biggest villain. So he embraces the role, and he turns out to be the one who takes down Barry's mother, which then molds him into the Flash, and the Reverse Flash turns out to be his main villain. So basically, it's kind of like the timeline's set already. It's like Jell-O in a way. It's set, but it's not permanent. You can imprint it if you'd like. So the Reverse Flash had to fill the timeline's role of going back into time to take down Barry's mother to then make Barry the Flash so that they could feud.
All right. We were talking about the Flash this morning, right? And we said that we may do exactly. We should do an episode about the Flash. So we're working on that. We don't want to spend too much time talking about the Flash right now.
We're gonna basically compare the Flash season 3 to the Flash movie.
Right, exactly. So we'll talk about that later. We'll put it together. All right, back to Loki. I agree with you. Thank you, Fanatics Blog, for being here. Yes, he is a great addition to the series. Alex, thank you for complimenting my shirt. I bought it from Amazon a few months back, so it's a pretty cool shirt. I got to get some more. I have
one of those.
Yes. Okay.
But right now, I'm rocking the Star Wars merch.
Okay. Very good, Keith.
Iron Man.
Yes, you're dressed like a stormtrooper.
I was trying to show the shoulder.
Oh, pretty cool.
Kind of weird when it's mirrored because I'm looking at the screen.
Yeah.
But I like I'm Vader.
Yeah. So Keith, anyone who's listening to us,
on me.
Yeah, Keith is wearing a cool stormtrooper shirt when he got Vader on the sleeve. Yeah, pretty cool.
Vader on the sleeve and stormtrooper is like right there,
and the logo at the bottom of the shirt. Okay. So. All right. Okay. Ouroboros. All right. So now Ouroboros believes that time slipping doesn't exist in the TVA, but obviously it does because he just witnessed it. So he mentions that in order to fix it, Mobius needs to get a temporal aura extractor. Now, where do you get that? Well, Loki had to tell him in the past that he needed to create one. So he has a temporal aura extractor, and that he needs to get it to the temple loom so the extractor can pull Loki out of the time stream. Very complicated. You know it's complicated because they repeated this multiple times in the episode what this temporal aura extraction is supposed to do. This temple loom, we're all going to temporal loom, we're all going to find out what that is very shortly. So meanwhile, Loki is while Mobius connects the oral extractor to the temporal loom, what Loki has to do is actually find a time stick to prune himself right at the moment when the loom is the oral extractor is connected to the loom, so that can bring him back to the present.
And by the way, I thought that was kind of cool how they handled it. So basically, because like Loki's molding the jello that is the timeline in the way, because when he goes to the past and asks Ouroboros if he has that specific thing, that means that since then he has now created that item.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Now, of course, what if this doesn't work? You always want to know, okay, well, what happens if it's...
By the way, they did this in The Flash. Basically, there's this item. I'm sorry, The Flash is awesome. Basically, there's this item that exists in the past.
Yeah.
And if the heroes destroy it in the past, it'll let out the reverse Flash in the future.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now what are the consequences? And Marvel loves this high stakes. Okay. And this is a high stake episode. All right. So if it doesn't work, if Mobius goes out and tries to connect this extractor and it doesn't work, he risks losing all of his skin. His skin gets peeled off.
Ouroboros is
right?
Like, listen, Mobius, if you don't get back here in time,
Right.
you're gonna lose all your skin and you'll die. And Loki, if you don't get back here in time, you're gonna be lost in the past forever.
You're right. You're gonna
and Mobius will lose all his skin.
Right. You're gonna be in a black hole. Like string spaghetti. You're gonna be lost forever. No one's gonna know where to find you.
And they really set up tension.
Oh yeah.
So Mobius is he's outside and he's trying to set up this temporal loom extractor.
Yeah.
But his suit's wearing away.
Yeah, and it's a heavy suit. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, he's attached to this, I don't know, a vacuum or whatever, and it's like one of those spacesuits that in E.T. It reminds me of the guy that was going through into the home, and he's wearing this spacesuit, and it's heavy and bulky, and he's supposed to connect the extractor to the loom in 5 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, you got 5 minutes before he loses all his skin and dies.
Yeah, but he's wearing this heavy suit. Look, I have no idea. And so
he's like, just give Loki more time.
Right.
Come on, we gotta give him more time.
Right.
And he's literally wasting away.
Okay, so now Loki is ready. However, again, he slips. He doesn't have a time stick. Okay, so now he's somewhere else. Doesn't have a time stick. He needs a time stick so he can prune himself. Meanwhile, Mobius is out there and he connects the oral to the loom. No sign of Loki. We don't know what's going on. OB is giving him 3 seconds to figure it out, or he has to close the doors. And if the doors are closed, Mobius doesn't get back, and Loki is lost forever. Of course, things work out very
thankfully.
Yes.
I was actually getting kind of scared.
Yeah. It was very exciting. It was like you said, it was tension filled. I love the visual effects. The music was very good.
Thank God they didn't Peter Parker us.
Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't want to get into it.
You know
that's
how
be a
in
long
that
story.
one final movie that I absolutely despise,
moving on
that
to Loki.
They ruined all of his relationships.
Now,
with
what
everybody.
was interesting, Keith, about Loki? He was supposed to prune himself, but I don't think he did. He got pruned somehow in another way. I don't know what happened. That part I didn't quite understand. Did you notice that? Anyway, okay. So when right at the time when Mobius is heading back after he connected the extractor to the loom, Loki is supposed to prune himself, but he didn't. He didn't have it. He couldn't find a time stick. In fact, he was actually looking for Sylvie at the time, and I don't know what happened. But anyway, so everybody's fine. Loki makes it back. Mobius is fine. He's got all of his skin. Everything is cool. All right. Now,
I'm time slipping.
Yes, he's time slipping right now. Okay. All right. So that time slipping was very, very interesting. Very, very creepy. it was painful to look at,
Thank
but
goodness we didn't have to stare at it for this
yeah.
entire season.
And
I
Tom,
was I was thinking it'd be like a huge issue, but
yeah,
it was barely addressed.
yeah. Tom Hiddleston is a very good actor. I mean, like you
Tom
see his
Hiddleston
facial expressions. He's very physical, and
and the hair whip.
the hair whip. Yeah, every time
He's got magic
he's
hair.
got the hair whip. Nobody whips the hair better than Hiddleston. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about the TVA a little bit. Now, there was a character, Renslayer. She was the one in
Ravonna Renslayer.
Yes, Ravonna Renslayer. She was in charge of the TVA in season 1. Now, at the end of the season, I believe she got away.
Stepped through a time door into
Okay,
season 2.
and we don't know where she is. It's possible she may show up later on in the series, but right for now, the TVA is being run by 2 people. There's a General Dox, who seems to be the new baddie, and I'll explain why, and then Judge Gamble. Okay, so there's a scene at the beginning of the episode where B-15 and Mobius goes into the war room and explains to them why they stopped pruning. All right, like again, all these branches are expanding the timeline. That means whenever you see a branch, you see one or several people are now, using their own free will and deviating and veering off the sacred timeline, which is a no-no according to TVA. You're not allowed to do that.
Wait a minute. Doesn't that mean the Avengers are variants? Because some of the time traveling they had to do was because Loki stole the Tesseract.
That's a very good.
So they had to go back to try again. So aren't they technically deviating from the sacred timeline?
You would think so.
Because how would it be that Loki wasn't supposed to take the Tesseract, but the Avengers were supposed to go back in time?
Yeah.
Because Loki took the Tesseract. Like, I feel like it's kind of a plot hole in that the Avengers should have been captured by the TVA. It doesn't really matter that much to me, but it's a bit irksome.
Well, it's an excellent question, and it's not actually overlooked. It was addressed. Loki asked the same question in season 1 when he was arrested. He said, okay, well, what about the Avengers? I mean, they went back in time. They changed a whole lot of stuff. And then talking about Renslayer, her response was, well, what they did was supposed to happen on the sacred timeline. Now, why is that? Because Loki didn't buy that. Like, okay,
that doesn't make
they
sense.
got away with it, but I couldn't. So Loki was not happy with that answer. But it was addressed in season 1.
Yeah, but it wasn't. Because it's not like they're saying that there's a reason why. It's not like they're saying, oh, well, the reason why that worked is because ... Okay. I mean...
Well, all right. Well, okay, so let's talk about the TVA. All right, so General Dox. Let's talk about her.
General Dox saying she's like the type of person to release somebody's social media info.
Okay.
That's what doxing is.
Okay. All right. I got it. All right. So she is against the idea of not pruning. Now, as I was saying about pruning, pruning is actually taking a person and either eliminating them entirely or eliminating them and bringing them back to the TVA and charging them with a crime against the sacred timeline.
Well, actually, I think pruning brings them to the doorstep of Eliath.
Okay.
Who is then supposed to kill them.
Interesting. Okay.
Which is weird because I don't know why they wouldn't just make it so the pruned sticks are lethal.
Right.
But
well, regardless, if you're pruning someone, you risk endangering the lives of that person, right? Or those people who are doing the.
Isn't that kind of the point,
deviating?
Though?
Well, yes. That's He Who Remains. That's his plan, or that's Kang's plan to eliminate some people. But B-15 and Mobius are creating an argument to say, well, we can't because the TVA lied to us. They are not for us. They are causing more damage. They think they're doing something lawful, but they're causing more damage than anything else. So the pruning had to stop, right? So we had the Judge Gamble who agreed that the pruning should be ceased effective immediately, but General Dox is not happy with that decision. And
basically there's 3 sides. There's a side where, they want to stop the pruning, and then there's the side where they don't want to stop pruning, and there's the side that's asleep.
Yes, right. We had another. Yeah, we had somebody else in the war room who was just fast asleep. You know, he could care less. All right, so General Docs is
But he
now.
just took a nap, like.
Yeah, yeah. Now General Docs is upset that this timeline is out of control and no one's going to do anything about it. And she is sending an army of the Minutemen to go after Sylvie. One woman. She's sending an army to go after one person.
Well, to be fair, Sylvie was a menace.
Well, yes, we know. We know Sylvie's history from season one. Yes, she did take out a few of them.
Sure did.
But
More
you
than a
know,
few.
yes, more than a few. But she did have a reason for it. You know, she again was one of the persons who was arrested for committing crimes against the timeline, but she was a little girl at the time, right? And you know, because of that, she lost out on living a full life. She didn't have a childhood. She just lost everything. All right, the TVA took all that away from her and erased her memory, right? But she has the gift
Wait,
of
would
enchantment, right?
would
Okay.
she remember losing her memory?
I don't think you remember losing your memory, but for Sylvie though, she has this gift of enchantment where I believe she can actually access the memories of others. Well, from
So do
season
you think
one,
she accessed her own memories? Because I believe, like, the way she could actually access
yeah, that's a good
memories that
question.
have been locked. Like, she did it
Yeah,
with one of those hunters where she went into her memories of being human, and that's how they
yes,
found out that these people had lives.
that's true. That's true. That's correct. Yeah, I that's a good question. Can she unlock her own memories? I don't know. That's a very good point. All right, let's go to Q&A. Let's see what we have. All right. Alex says maybe the Avengers going back in time was all part of He Who Remains Kang's plan, a long term plan of sorts. That could be true. Maybe that's what Kang wanted. Yeah. I know
But
it's hard to
wait,
believe.
but if that's what Kang wanted, then why would he keep Loki from? You know what? It makes a bit of sense now.
You think
If
it?
it is
Go ahead.
part of He Who Remains his master plan,
Hmm.
then that would make sense why he sent Loki to the TVA, because afterwards he got pruned with Sylvie and they went to fight Elias and then they met him. But what I don't think was part of his plan was to die.
You don't think you're talking about Kang?
Yeah, I'm talking about Kang. It
I
does make a little bit of sense if that was He Who Remains his plan.
well, you know what? I think because he's so all powerful, omnipotent, almost like a god or like a god, he knew exactly what Sylvie was going to do before she did it. He probably knew that Sylvie did not believe him and that she was going to take him out so that she could open up these, you know, the idea of these multiple Kangs all over all over the multiverse.
Wait, but why would he
I think
want
he
that
intentionally
chaos?
because he can cause chaos and be in control of the multiverse.
But it's not him.
Well, it's different variations of him, right?
Yeah.
And okay, well, I don't know. That's my opinion. And then Loki again.
Your opinion is hereby invalid.
Okay, thank you.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
And then Loki, believed him, but I don't know if Loki was the other option was to run the TVA. But I think Loki wanted to just step back and say, okay, well, let's not do anything right now. Let's think this through. But Sylvie made a decision, and then this is what happened.
And
Okay.
Loki was even like, I just wanted time to think.
Yes, exactly.
Like,
Right.
I'll be honest, that's a very valid point. Like, if I were Loki and Sylvie, I would have just said, now, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's just think.
Yeah.
Why are we about to kill him? Why would we assume that his words aren't true? Like, let's pretend everything he's saying is true. Maybe we could just take over the TVA and give these people back their lives.
Yeah. Why not?
I
Why
mean,
not?
I feel like that would be a better plan.
Okay. Well.
You know what else I like?
Yeah.
They didn't try to rush Loki.
They meaning
Like the Marvel, they didn't rush Loki into like his character development. He did become a hero pretty quickly because he watched a video and now he's a good guy. But I feel like he really changed from the first episode to the sixth.
I see what you're saying. Right after he found out his fate, you're talking about that video.
Yeah.
You know, we saw what took place on the ship in Infinity War and how he lost his life to Thanos. Yes, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Well, all right. Q&A. What do we have? Alex says, I agree with Keith. It would have been better to see, it would have better to be prudent than to rush in. Sylvie's actions were understandable, but a bit rushed and played into He Who Remains hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, I think I would have just had to take a seat.
Yes.
Right over there and sat on the stairs.
Yeah. And I'm not saying what she did was wrong, but
It was.
It was wrong, but she's just thinking about the life that she lost because of the TVA.
I get it though, because she got completely robbed of life, basically. Like the TVA took everything from her.
Sure.
So if I'm Sylvie,
yeah,
I understand why she's so rageful and upset.
Yeah.
Like I'm just thinking, like it does make a bit more sense, but still, I feel like she should have just stepped back and like thought through and wondered the implications of her decisions rather than saying no and then taking out Kang.
Got it. Speaking of Sylvie, all right, do we have any more Q&A before we continue? Okay, speaking of Sylvie, there was a post-credit scene.
Yes, Marvel's bringing back post-credits.
Post-credit scene, okay. In episode 1, at least. I don't know if they're going to do that with every episode.
Well, they did it with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier in that they had a post-credit scene like at the midpoint of the show.
True, right. Okay, so Sylvie appears in Broxton, Oklahoma in 1982. Now, Broxton, Oklahoma actually has a meaning in the Marvel comic books.
It does.
Yes, you and I have not have time to actually research it, but it is connected to Thor. All right, so we're going to study it, and we'll get back to you about what Broxton, Oklahoma means to this series and to the Marvel comics. How it's going to connect, we don't know, but it does exist in the Marvel comics. All right, so we'll talk about that when we come back and talk about episode 2. Well, so she is in this Broxton, Oklahoma, 1982, and she enters a McDonald's. All right, McDonald's. Why not? McDonald's.
I guess she wanted some golden fries too.
Now let me tell you something. Now this McDonald's in Oklahoma, even if it even existed in Oklahoma back in 1982, I was around in 1982. There was no McDonald's that looked like that one in Oklahoma.
You were around in 1982.
Don't be funny, Keith. All right, yeah, you're being a comedian. All right, so no, McDonald's did not look like that. That's all I can say, Keith.
You were around in 1982.
Don't tease me about my age. All right, here we go. So I thought it was very interesting. It was very nice.
That's the year before Return of the Jedi came out.
It was a very nice looking restaurant there. So I was just, what? 1982? Okay. Anyway, so Sylvie walks up to the counter and then she asks the cashier, well, what do I do here? And he says, oh, you just order anything. And then something she said was, she wanted to order something that was already dead and not with a face. So the guy says, oh, we got cheeseburgers, hamburgers, chicken McNuggets, or whatever you want. And you could just see the look on her face because she's actually tuning out what the cashier is saying. And she's looking around at the people who are just living their lives and you're just sitting there eating something as simple as eating McDonald's food and enjoying themselves. And
you remember when I said they had the sweet and sour sauce in Loki?
What did you say about the sweet and sour sauce?
Yeah, so basically there's this like as featured in meal that's campaigning for McDonald's, and it'll have stuff that's in like Fast and Furious and Loki and other major properties.
Where did you see this?
I just said Minecraft. McDonald's.
Oh, wow. So you knew this was coming? There was going to be a tie-in with McDonald's and Loki?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, how about that? And it works. Anyway, so, and then, so I'm saying that Sylvie's just looking around and just looking at all these people who are free to live their lives. They can sit and eat whatever they want. They can sit with whomever they want. And she's looking at a group of kids or teenagers at the table. And she's really thinking about, this could have been me. This could have been my life before the TVA took it away from me. And then she turns to the cashier and says,
I'll try everything.
everything. I'll try everything. And that's how it ends. Very, very
I
cool
think that
episode.
was great, honestly.
Yeah, I can't
And you know
wait.
what I like?
Yeah.
They didn't leave us on too much of a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's only
Like,
the first episode.
We had a lot that I didn't think would be wrapped up in one episode, but they handled it well.
Yes, okay. Here, all right, as Keith stretches.
I'm not yawning.
All right. All right, I guess it's late. All right. I want to.
Elongating.
Yeah, I want to say that the title of the episode was called Ouroboros, written by Eric Martin, directed by two directors, Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead. Very well directed. I love the editing, the work of Ke Huy Quan, and the banter between he and Owen Wilson was wonderful. I hope the writing stays this way because it works very well. A lot of good one-liners, especially from Owen Wilson. He's just, he's been in the business for many years now, so we expect that from him. He's very, very sharp-witted, and he makes you laugh. So I was very pleased with this episode, and I can't wait to see episode 2. Anything else you want to say?
I think that's it.
Okay, let's final Q&A. Alex says the post-credit scene was great and the symbolism was great. Yeah, McDonald's. I don't know where this is going to go. I do recall seeing a picture of Sylvie behind the counter. That's going to be interesting. I don't know exactly why she would want to work at McDonald's. But again, maybe it's just that, she's just trying to make up for time lost, which I can understand. But she's in big trouble because the TVA is looking for her big time. All right.
Do you think the TVA is really going to prune up a McDonald's?
I think the TVA is very angry right now that everything is out of control.
Ducks.
Yeah, everything's out of control. And then at some point, we're going to see He Who Remains as Victor Timely, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're going to see Timely showing up.
For the end of Quantumania, we saw Loki and Mobius.
Exactly.
In the end of time.
Exactly. The end of time.
Like in the 1700s.
Yeah. So that's right. They're going to time travel way back. Okay, here we go. Time travel.
Ooh, comment from Alex.
Yes.
Lol, I would love to see Sylvie dealing with an angry customer.
Angry McDonald's customer? There's no such thing, Alex. What are you talking about?
You know what, Alex? Know what would be funny is if Sylvie's had so much. She's had so much of this dude that she just pulls out the prune stick and is like, "Stop talking."
Yeah.
That would be something Sylvie would do.
You know something? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not ashamed to say it. I love McDonald's. We love McDonald's, right? I take you and your brother. I take you and your
sponsorship idea.
There you go. McDonald's, are you listening? All right. So
McDonald's. If you're ever hungry, why don't you drive into your nearest McDonald's, get a pack of large fries for $1.99, a Happy Meal for the youngins,
right?
Maybe a frozen treat for the summer
right.
with our blue Fanta and wild cherry slushies.
Right, and 10%
only
goes
at McDonald's.
to Father Son Galaxy. Why not? Anyway, so
give us money.
What I was saying is, it's something that I enjoy doing with you and your brother, taking you to McDonald's, but they do have a large menu of things. And now it's getting so complicated now to order what you want. So I'm one of those customers that will stand at the counter or at the drive-thru. It's like, give me a minute. Can I have
You know what? It's always fun when you get one of those give me a minute customers.
Wait a minute, give me a minute. And then you like to change your order at the last minute. Like I'm ordering.
Like, can I get an Oreo McFlurry? No, wait, M&M. No,
right.
No, wait, I want to freeze it.
You love to confuse me at the last minute. Oh, well, change it into a Fanta orange. You're like, okay, come on. Anyway, that's too much about us.
Make it yellow.
All right, so thank you, everyone. So if there are no other Q&A, this has been fun. We cannot wait to talk about episode 2. Keith, where can people find us?
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts. Our socials are Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fathers and Galaxy. Website, fathersandgalaxy.com. Check out our merch store, fathersandgalaxy.myrspreadshop.com. We got hoodies to keep you warm for the fall and mugs for you to pour your hot cocoa or coffee into in the morning. And please donate to our Patreon page, patreon.com/FatherSonGalaxy. You can donate to us. We can't do it without you. And we are also we are really looking forward to all the fun trips we can do next year. And
Yeah.
2025, Japan.
Oh boy, yeah, that's gonna be exciting. All right. So
Yes.
and the holidays are coming up. So hey, if you want a gift.
Who likes Egg McMuffins?
Okay, all right.
I've not even been allowed to eat an Egg
McMuffins?
McMuffin because Mom and Dad
Wait a
don't
minute, did
like
somebody
it.
ask about Egg McMuffins?
Alex likes Egg McMuffins.
Egg McMuffins.
I've
okay.
never been allowed to have an Egg McMuffin.
Well,
are they good?
I don't know if that's intentional, Keith, that we're keeping you away from the McDonald's
I'm not
breakfast.
really interested in having an Egg McMuffin, though.
No,
I've never
right.
Really,
we enjoy the lunch menu.
I don't think I was ever interested in eating breakfast from a place that specializes in having a lot of stuff fried in beef fat.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the sodas are fried in beef fat. Like all the sodium and calories.
Yeah, well, okay. It's look, it's a fun place. It's not a healthy place.
I'm loving it.
And we love McDonald's, all right? So
all right.
Look our way, McDonald's. Alex, we'll get back to you on Wednesday.
Actually, I think we will have a live stream.
We will? Okay.
I plan on doing something with the Flash.
Okay, Keith. I don't want to put you on the spot because that's only 3 days away. So we'll see what happens. Look out for it. We'll give you the signal. All right. When we see the bat signal up, we'll be there. Okay. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. This has been great. We'll see you again soon. Until next time. Take care. And we will see you again.
Peace out.